let's ride, as our camera operator just said. Let's ride.
Camera operator. Welcome to the EuroBonus podcast.
Welcome to the EuroBonus podcast, my friend.
This is high five or just a handshake?
I was just gonna say, look at this
You
guy.
wanna hug me or something?
Welcome back home.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
Welcome
Good to
back
see you
home.
guys. You were rolling during the Olympics. I was so happy to see,
So were you. So
doing
were
the
you.
podcast on a high note.
Come on, you're saying
consistently.
we were rolling. You interviewed freaking Dirk Nowitzki and Carmelo Anthony, and
Dwayne Wade as well. Not for the video,
Yeah,
but for the...
You met Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Had a conversation with the Flash.
He was commenting the games for the NBC, and there was this corridor, 30-second length corridor between his seat and the restroom. So I managed to catch him, and during this walk, I managed to get this 2.5 minutes interview. And he was nice, actually. He was really nice. So I love that conversation. I went together with them. I went through some zones where I shouldn't be allowed to go, actually. But when you go with Dwayne Wade, there are no limits to you, basically. So even the security, they couldn't do nothing. So yeah, that was hell of an experience, I would say.
Which one left you the biggest sort of, when were you the most like starstruck in any of those situations where you starstruck at all?
No, man.
No?
Maybe this is a problem with me. Nobody kind of, surprises me, or I don't have this feeling of being starstruck. I don't have this rush or whatever to have a selfie or to touch somebody, because he's a big celebrity.
But
I don't
I'm
care.
talking about more like a feeling inside of yourself, not the external,
But from the
actions.
interviewer's
Yeah, for example,
perspective,
He's a professional journalist. He shouldn't feel like a regular fan, right?
I understand, but when you see LeBron, when you see KD, when you see those people you grew up with,
it's just mutual, not mutual. I'm not sure about the other side and their feelings, but from my side, it was all respect, and that's all. So it's different when just like, oh my God, this is LeBron. Of course, there was this like moment where I'm like standing, it's me and it's KD, it's me and LeBron, and basically I can just touch the beard like this, So that was like, okay, I'm glad to be in this position, to ask him some questions. But to be honest with you, all my questions, and the responses that I got from LeBron, they were like not content material at all. So I was super disappointed.
But you could see that coming, right? Because the NBA superstars, they know how to talk to the media.
But KD is different.
KD
is my man.
Of course KD is different.
KD is
like
my man.
he's tweeting at 5 a.m., so of course he's different.
Man, I love the guy, really. I always respected the guy, but now I'm just in love. He's just embracing every media opportunity. He wants to have a conversation. He wants to say something meaningful. He has basketball IQ. IQ in general, I was like, oh
Entertainment
my God.
and IQ.
Exactly. That's all what you need, right?
Both interviews with Carmelo Anthony and Dirk Nowitzki were spectacular. I loved it. But
Thanks,
I got the feeling that Dirk is the guy that could stay after the interview and have a beer with you.
Exactly. Beer was the first thing that came
felt
to my
it,
mind.
like watching it. And Carmelo Anthony, that was a really honest conversation, but still had a feeling like it's an arranged interview, right? You do your stuff, you shake hands, and you leave. But Dirk Nowitzki, I really got the feeling like if you ask him, hey, Dirk, maybe want to stay for a beer, he could actually agree.
Or during the interview. Okay, I'm short of time, so let's drink right now. So
that smile, Dirk Nowitzki has a very charming smile, I have to say.
You're on point, really.
We saw who you had interviews with. Who did you have a beer with that's noteworthy? Was there anyone you had like a beer or a conversation off like work, just met randomly or anything?
There were some people that I don't want to mention because, they are my sources. So we had some quality time. But very random conversation that I had was with Thanasis Antetokounmpo, because apparently he was also waiting. I think he was waiting for CU Bird. I also saw that Thanasis did a podcast actually with Dirk. There's this Thanalysis. Yeah, he has his channel. So
best name ever for a podcast.
Really. So
similar to.
We
to
did
this.
it first, but then I think he topped
from
it.
the players' perspective, that's the best in the players department. So Thanasis was also charming. I mean, he's always charming. It's crazy to match his energy and positivity in all the areas. During our small talk, he just like respected our job because he felt like how hard it is to arrange any interviews or podcast. even when he's a player.
Did you say he listens to the podcast, or he did last year or something like that when we met
during
him in
the
All-Star?
EuroBasket when he played? I think that he said something in the
Did you
media
say he was
mix
subscribed to the BasketNews channel? Right? Say yes now.
Yes. He's one of the first subscribers of BasketNews.
Can you believe 65% of the people watching right now are not subscribed to this channel?
Wow.
And Thanasis is
65.
Something is wrong with you guys.
65%.
Yeah.
And did you know that when we hit 150,000 subs, we're sending out a Giannis Antetokounmpo jersey to one of those people?
Like this one that we had? I brought it from
we got
Paris.
a Greece one now.
Yeah. We
Maybe
have
that
some
one.
South Sudan stuff as well. This is I'm most proud of, actually, because I was so surprised to see South Sudan jersey in this peak store that was basically built next to Lille's arena. And I have to say that, it was, I wanted to bring something. There was Carlick Jones and somebody else. This is without any name because, they just swept basically all the stuff from South Sudan. And it was Jokic and South Sudan stuff was like the most popular, and it was highest demand merch that you can get. And in Paris, there was basically no stuff.
Well, this is the URBONUS Q&A podcast, by the way, and we have some questions from you guys. And since we're on this topic of you being in Paris, I think we should keep on that topic. And there's a question from Laz for you about top 3 players for cooperation from your experience in Paris and Lille. So you so far already mentioned KD.
Number 1.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Anyone else you would like to name?
I loved Evan Fournier. I mean, he's the most honest guy that you can have. During the tournament, he freaking questions his head coach and kind of causes the turnaround of the competition. Then, there was this problem in Paris. I didn't watch it on TV, but there was this big VIP zone and Olympic family member zone. Seats not for the regular tickets or fans, so it was often empty, especially going toward the semifinals and finals. So he was like, "This is fucking shame." He told it on record. I mean, to allocate those seats in front of the camera is a fucking shame, and especially compared this whole Paris experience with Lille, where it was incredible, 27,000 people in every game. So Evan Fournier was great, and I also kind of felt having a conversation with him. So this is the part that I really respect. And of course, the Gianmarco Poseco of the NBA or Gianmarco Poseco of South Sudan, Royal Ivy. I mean, the guy is speaking for the headlines. And not just for the headlines. I mean, he's so honest, he was very charming.
Very passionate guy.
He revealed a lot of interesting things about Luol Deng being so, covering a lot of stuff or bringing sponsors to cover all these hotels, flights, difficult, stuff that they had to go through, and Luol Deng was behind it. And, this thing about Luol Deng went viral, like worldwide, millions of views, millions of people were reached. Of course, Luol Deng also said that it's not only on me, it's also about the South Sudan Federation, people of South Sudan, the government. But I mean, Royal Ivy was like not a whistleblower, but a guy who told
very
a lot
vocal.
of good things about South Sudan.
I wanted to ask you about South Sudan, actually. That fact that they don't have a single inside court in South Sudan? That's what Wendy and Gabriel said, at least in one of the interviews.
Yeah.
How do they train? Do they do all of their training outside of South Sudan?
In Rwanda.
Okay.
Yeah, Rwanda. Yeah, that was their place for the training camp, but they were also moving during the preparation. So that's another factor why it was not easy for them to prepare for the competition.
I got a feeling from listening to you that in Lille it felt like a basketball championship, then in Paris it felt like just a small part of the Olympic Games. Is it true?
This is actually the next question. Which of those two cities did you prefer?
Yeah.
Coming from Lille to Paris was like a downgrade from the entire basketball experience. I mean, 27,000 people in every game. Australia, Spain, 11 in the morning, 27,000 people. I was like shocked. Then during my day 3, I kind of got used to it. Okay, that's Lille. Maybe they're celebrating the Olympics this way because nothing else was happening in Lille, which is like 2 hours away from Paris. In Paris, the arena was smaller. I told you about these seats allocated in a strange way. So it was maybe from a basketball perspective, it was a higher quality basketball that we witnessed in Paris. And in general, I could feel Olympics vibe, in Paris. That's for sure the most beautiful Olympic Games that we ever had. Connecting all these historical places, all these beautiful places in general in Paris with sports. I mean, that's the best thing you can do, to take pictures in front of Eiffel on your bike, in volleyball venue, a lot of crazy things. But I wished we had this final game in Lille, actually, because of the experience. It was amazing. One of the best atmospheres I've been to. And I've been to places like from Manila, this stadium with 37,000 people or even more, up to 40. I've been to Greek derby, Serbian derby. It was a different atmosphere, but it was an atmosphere I prefer, actually.
And of course, these are things that we can only hear from you or from the people who were there. But even for me, like watching on TV, seeing half-empty gym when the quarterfinals started was so shocking, because in Lille, every game was sold out. Doesn't matter who was playing. So I was very surprised. Was there a reason for that?